So you're starting to outgrow your friend group, right? And that's fine. Honestly, it's fine because it doesn't mean you're better than them or you're better than anybody, right? And you don't want it to come across as that. I mean, I wouldn't want to either, but you know something's off, and you feel it, right? Whether that's you don't enjoy the same things they enjoy anymore, or when y'all go your separate ways, like you're on different paths, whether that's graduate, somebody moves, whatever the case may be, you just feel like something's not working out, right? It's not as, I don't want to say authentic, but your full self doesn't feel satisfied or even present, right? And I'm going to get into that a little bit. So, outgrowing, right? Why do I decide to use that word? Well, it's not like in a condescending sense where it's like, oh, nah, like this is childish. Like y'all are doing this. That could be the case for you, but it's not the case for everybody, right? Where you could just be thinking like, y'all like doing this a little bit too much, and I can't put my time and energy into that, and it's just not good energy for me to be around. Whether that's just you don't like it or vibrationally, it throws you off. And in my specific example, right, I mean, multiple friend groups, right? But in one friend group, they, one or two people might support a lifestyle that I don't rock with, and I stand on that. And whenever a conversation goes in that direction, I don't partake in it. Whenever there's an activity where that, might be the center of it, I ain't going, right? And that was not a comfortable feeling for me. It still isn't, right? And frankly, it's not supposed to be. Because, I mean, change is uncomfortable. I mean, it's, we talk about stuff like that all the time. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I realize that this is something that, and I'm going to touch on this a lot, is that will not easily be solved, but step one to mitigating and just damage control of this kind of outcasted feeling or lost feeling is a greater sense of self, right? And how does me having a greater sense of self pertain to this, right? It's the fact that with the new mindset that I have, in that hopefully you'll have a grasp of by the end of this video, right? That mindset that you can still learn things, you can still appreciate, the people around you without necessarily engaging in anything that lowers your vibration. And there are going to be times where, I mean, it may not be that easy for you to just say no and walk off. Like, friends might make it difficult, or they might call you this name, call you that name, say, oh, you too good for this now. And in some ways, yeah, I mean, you can be, right? I mean, not literally too good, but it's like you can't be doing that stuff no more. You can't spend this much time playing video games no more. You can't talk about these topics because it drains you. Like, these are real deal things. And you shouldn't be blamed for wanting something better for yourself at all. Let's dive into more about how it may feel to your friends, right? Like I said, they're gonna feel like you change, you acting weird, or the usual spill, right? But in reality, your priorities have shifted, and that's okay. In life, your priorities are gonna shift, and there's nothing we can do about it. So, You should embrace that though. It's a good thing. I mean, growth, change, evolution, these are all things that we should embrace that, yes, don't hurt in many ways, but it's worth it. It really, really is. And as heartbreaking as it sounds, I mean, your friend shouldn't stop you. Right. And that's if you really want it, that is. And once you start to develop a stronger sense of self through just knowing what you want, having a dead set lifestyle that you want to live, things you want to achieve, things you want to do for people or a greater cause. When you interact with these friends, you'll still have a good time. You can still have a good time. I'm not saying that you can't. But when it's time for you to go, it's time for you to go. And you'll know when that time comes. Like, you'll realize, yeah, like, I don't want to stay my life. You'll trust me. As a person who's experiencing that, you'll know. With a stronger sense of self, obviously, things are going to come in your brain when you hear that. You're going to start, when you think of better self, you think more confident. One of the first things you think about, which, yes, that's part of it, right? And what comes with confidence is the ability, or should I say the strength or courage, to realize that you want something better and they don't support it. Diagnosis, I should say, right? Or or realization, whatever you want to call it, right? That this is not where you should be. And just because you know where you shouldn't be doesn't mean you're going to know where you should, right? There is duality to everything, but you will not see the full picture, right? But you just know you shouldn't be there, and that's okay. But you need to have the confidence to know that I can be alone. Like, I don't know where I'm going to go, but I just know I got to leave. And that sentence in itself can go for so many other things, but in this specific case, right, you need to be willing to be on your own, one. And you need to have the courage to not let that affect really who you are or how you view yourself. Because no one's going to know you like you know you. So whatever they call you, whatever they say you are, however weird they say you're acting, well, I mean, it is what it is, frankly. And one thing that you'll also need to learn is that don't force nothing because you're too attached to the past or anything for that matter. And once you're alone, right, or when you're getting closer, or I should say farther away from the area or circle of people that you feel like you shouldn't be around, you'll think, what now, in a way? Like, because now that you felt what a close friendship feels like, and you have the confidence to tell yourself, I can do it again, which is a great thing, right? But there's going to be a point in time where you'll go a while without having it or making a new connection like that. Like, I'm not saying everybody's going to go years without having another close friendship, but also a lot of people won't immediately find another deep connection within a month, right? That's why I say you have to be comfortable being alone. You have to be comfortable with knowing your boundaries between a person that might like the same music as you, but, isn't the most ambitious person that kind of sits around. Or somebody who's the opposite, who's ambitious, who shares the same goals as you, or just shares very inspirational goals, but personality-wise, value-wise, you don't rock with it. And knowing yourself to the point where you could say in your mind, I can keep this person at a distance, but I can still appreciate these traits and engage in semi-meaningful conversation. And what'll start to happen is you'll start to feel this almost perpetual feeling of comfort's not the right word, but this perpetual feeling of progress, right? Where you know, or at least you're confident in your knowledge of yourself, where you can navigate your interactions with certain people with confidence, that is, but you set good enough boundaries where you know what to step out of bad situations. And look where you are now. You're making your way to where you want to be, and you're cultivating your new reality before you even realize it. Because once you have gotten to this point, it'll feel like, really, like you don't need anyone, right? When, as you know, self-assuring, you know, self-centered, and you know, all that sounds, that's a great step to make. And one thing that you have to learn is that you can't tackle any uncertainties in this life. You are uncertain within yourself. Why do you expect to take life? Life in itself is uncertain. It's filled with uncertainty, right? You can only know so much. If you're uncertain in how you react to things, and if you're definitely uncertain about the fact that you're not actually acting and you're reacting, all I'm going to say is it's going to just make life so much harder for you, in plain and simple terms. But by doing all of this, by leaving, or not, I don't want to say leaving, setting boundaries with that past group or groups or people or person that you're dealing with, and saying, hey, like, or you don't even have to make it a conversation, really. Like, as bad as this sounds, like, you can really do the distancing yourself and just limit what you give your energy out to, and you limit what energy you're willing to take in. And that's how you'll cultivate your reality. That's how you'll cultivate your circle. And that's when that's when life starts to feel like it's your life. Things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you now. Very important. So, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. And if you're going through something like this, no matter how old you are, you're gonna be all right. Okay? You're gonna be all right. Right? You're better than you think you are at making friends. Trust me. Or if you don't think you are, you can work on that. But the first step of getting to what's good for you is knowing what's not. So, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.